Hello, everybody, and welcome in on this Friday morning. Man, oh man, we made it to Friday. What a week it has been. We hope your day is off to a great start. We are staying on top of some stories this morning. If you've been following the forecast a little bit this week, you know that today is a first alert weather day. There is some good news about this prediction that we've had from our team of meteorologists. Good news is that severe threat has lessened a bit. So you'll hear more about that at 11:30 with Weather Where You Are with meteorologist Ella Dorsey. In the meantime, I want to get you caught up on some of those stories that are making headlines this morning on Atlanta News First, and even some of those stories that we're working to get you more information about for Atlanta News First at noon. So this first one I want to start with today. We're talking about it being a first alert weather day, and if you take this live look outside, you will see just how gloomy it is, and that's for the most part really just an idea of the setup of what is headed our way today. But think about this day a year ago. The recovery efforts are still underway in Spalding County 1 year after several tornadoes tore through parts of North Georgia. It is that grim anniversary. Atlanta News First Rebecca Schramm is in the town of Griffin, and it's 1 year to the day, and parts of that county still have not recovered.
I'm at a location that really hasn't changed much in the last 12 months. This is the Vineyard Creek Apartments here in Griffin, and look at that. They've still got a tarp over this building. Management telling us they've had some setbacks with insurance, which has stalled the much needed repairs. But yeah, let's remind you of what Spalding County and the town of Griffin looked like 1 year ago today. We later learned after that morning that 4 tornadoes were on the ground at the same time here, including an EF3 that ripped through the downtown area. A Hobby Lobby, you might remember. It had much of its roof torn off. And today, some good news. That store is under construction and is on track to reopen soon. We spoke with a woman who lives in Covington, but she grew up here in Spalding County, and she still has some property here. It's outside the city limits. Her childhood home on Kendall Drive was destroyed, and it still has not been rebuilt. She says that tornado completely changed the landscape of this community.
This little patch of area over there, it is just really thick. I mean, that's how all of this area used to be. You couldn't see the house next door because of the thick foliage that the trees were, but now all of that is gone. I mean, the trees have been leveled down. From what I know growing up from here, 50 years ago, is nothing compared to where we are now.
Amazingly, with all that damage, not a single human life was lost here in Spalding County because of the tornadoes. A lot of folks are waking up this morning glad to hear from our meteorologist that the threat of severe weather and tornadoes has dropped significantly, but they had already canceled schools here as a precaution. In Griffin, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
All right, Rebecca, thanks so much for that report there. We do want to take you now live to a sentencing for Teresa Black. She is expected to learn her fate for concealing her son's death for decades. So we want to listen in to this happening in DeKalb County, and we'll give you back some more information if you're just tuning in regarding this case after we learn of this sentencing.
Okay, all right, go ahead and swear her in, please.
Raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give to the court to be the truth on the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Will you lower your hand, state your name and spell it for the record?
Ava McNeil, AVA-MCNEIL.
Good morning, Ms. McNeil.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the court about how this offense has impacted you and what you're recommending the sentence should be?
Well, we wrote a letter. Could I read it?
Sure.
Dear Judge Hydrick, my name is Ava McNeil, and I love William as if he were my own. When Teresa returned to Charlotte without William, I never believed any of her explanations. I always knew something was wrong, and and I also told her I would never stop looking until I found out what happened to him. I never imagined I would be searching for William for over 20 years. If you knew William, you would have fought to find him too. William Deshaun Hamilton was a special little boy whose smile lit up a room instantly. He was such a lovable and gregarious child. He was smart with a mature intellect. He was also respectful. William had so much life ahead of him, and he had the potential of becoming anything he wanted to be. Because of Teresa, we missed seeing William grow up. We missed watching him learn and laugh through those precious and curious elementary years. We missed him growing up through middle school and high school as well as graduating. I know he would have went to college. He told me before that he had dreams of going to a rich college. This was a child that could read dictionaries and encyclopedias before he even started kindergarten. He enjoyed being the reader, not the listener. He also enjoyed singing Michael Jackson, "We Are Not Alone." I saw William as someone who would grow up and birth wonderful achievements in his life. A doctor, a scientist, maybe even a lawyer. If you knew William, you would agree with me without a doubt. William was like a little old soul in a little man in a boy's body. He had so much love to give. I believe it's a huge loss to the world that his life was cut short. And yes, I said the world. That's how special he really was. My family will be forever changed by the truth of what happened to him. My 11-year-old can't understand how mom leaves her child in the woods. She knows of William. Both of my daughters grew up watching me search for him. Every year we celebrated his birthday. We had no idea he wasn't alive. Today he would be 32 years old. So much has changed because of Teresa's decision. Beautiful William didn't have a fair chance to live the full life he deserved. All the wonderful things he could have contributed to society was taken away because of his mother's actions. Who was supposed to protect him? She made a horrible choice that made it worse by concealing his death. It's still hard to believe. Nothing will bring William back, and nothing will heal my heart from the loss of him. So many people were touched in 23 years by this unknown and unclaimed child. That in itself is proof of the impact he would make on a person's heart. I would like to thank everyone who worked this case and never gave up. The gratitude can't be extended enough for the tenderness he has been shown. Rest in peace, little William. And thank you, Judge Hodrick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McNeil. Your Honor, I don't know if there is anyone in the waiting room. We were expecting 2 others, but they might not have had the ability to log on.
I don't see anybody.
Your Honor, back when discovery was served, the state did file its written notice of its intent to seek recidivist punishment under OCGA 17-10-7A. The defendant does have a prior conviction from 1994 for manslaughter out of North Carolina. A certified copy of that conviction was provided to the defense as well. I'm tendering that into the record now, Your Honor, State's Exhibit 1, if I may approach.
Yes, please.
As Your Honor is aware, under the recidivist statute, subsection A, the court is required to impose the maximum sentence in this case, which would be 10 years. However, the court does have discretion to probate or suspend a portion of that sentence. There is a range. The range for concealing a death of another is 1 to 10 years in custody, Your Honor. And we believe that range reflects the legislature's intent and understanding that this crime can encompass a range of behaviors, all that aren't equally as severe. They reflect different intents. So at the lowest level, that 1 year represents a situation where there's mitigation, there's explanation, there's remorse, there's something that comes into play that authorizes that lower sentence. But at the other end of the spectrum, we're looking at our worst cases, Your Honor. Cases where there is no excuse, there is no justification, there is no remorse. And Ms. Black's case represents that other end of the spectrum. One of the worst cases of concealing I can think of. Her child, her own child, died in her custody and in her care. And she left that child at 6 years old in the woods in a secluded area where he had no connections, where he had no one, to rot, to decay, to be eaten by animals. We believe the evidence has shown that Ms. Black dumped that child there. Didn't just wake up after sleeping in the woods with him and find him dead. We believe the evidence has shown that she dumped him there. That her state of mind throughout the trial was shown with her own statements when she told the police, when she finally confessed 23 years later to leaving him in those woods, that she knew something was wrong with him. When she said over and over that people would think she had done something to him. And that is why she left him there, Your Honor. She did it to protect herself. She did it to protect herself from crimes she believed she would be charged with, because she knew that she hadn't taken care of William and that she was responsible for his death. There has to be a consequence, a severe consequence for people who manage to cover up their crimes in such a way that these victims don't have a voice, that in death they cannot tell the experts, law enforcement, what has happened to them. The only reason the cause of death was unknown in this case is because of the actions of Teresa Black. And she showed no remorse afterwards. She continued to live her life here in Atlanta afterwards, lying to everyone she came across, trying to benefit off this child's death by filing for child support in 2002 against his father, lying to her husband, finding someone to put on the phone with him, acting like this child, telling people he was living a life in Atlanta with children. This family, the whole paternal side of the family, went all this time thinking William didn't want anything to do with them, that he had no interest in a connection with them and a life with them. And they've only just now found out what really happened, and they are just now allowed to grieve and go through the loss of his death. Finally able to bury his body. Your Honor, this is one of the most egregious cases, and we believe you should impose the maximum sentence of 10 years to serve, and that not a day of it should be probated or suspended, Your Honor. And I'm sorry, I've just been notified that his grandmother has logged on and wishes to address the court, Your Honor.
Okay. Tess, will you check? Please. I don't see anybody.
No one is waiting.
Nobody's waiting?
No.
No, she's not logged on.
Yes, Your Honor.
But I'll hear from the defense, and then if she gets connected, I'll be happy to hear from her then.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Bozarth.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Ms. Black she's 46 years old. When this happened, she was 21 years old, as the court has heard throughout trial. She became pregnant with William when she was 14. She gave birth a couple of weeks after she turned 15. The conviction that the state references happened when she was 16. This was involved an abusive relationship, a case where, as Ms. Black told officers in Arizona, that there was a self-defense claim that she feared she would not prevail at trial, So she took a extremely reduced deal. That was a 3-year sentence that I believe she served just short of 14 months in custody. I think that speaks to certainly the nature of what that case was, that there likely was a viable self-defense claim that she didn't want to risk at trial. She got an extremely reduced sentence. She was sentenced as a youth offender. As I said, she was 16 when this happened. Leaving William in those woods was the greatest mistake of Teresa's life. She has held that regret and the shame and guilt of that for 24 years, 25 years. She has not moved on from that guilt or shame, and she never will. She has, however, moved on from the circumstances of her life. In 1999, she turned to drugs. She turned to sex work. She was in a terrible place. Even after William passed, she was in a terrible place. She has worked to get her life on track, and she has. She has raised a daughter who loves her very much and is extremely involved in her life directly, and has been for her entire 18 years. Ms. Black has saved money for a college fund for her, so she can go to college if she would like. She's 18 years old. Teresa has wanted, as best as she can, to shield her family from the mistakes of her past and from this incident. She has not wanted them present here. She did not want them involved in giving a statement. She wants her daughter to be shielded from her past as much as she can. This is something that Teresa knows she had to deal with, and she wanted to keep her family out of it as best as she can. She has shown who she is through the last more than 20 years as she has moved on with her life. She has gotten a good job, a job that initially took her to Alaska. Then that same company moved her to Arizona. That's why she was in those states. It's called Crescent Electric Supply. I believe she worked there until this arrest for over 11 years. We are asking the court to sentence Ms. Black with a sentence that fits her conviction here, and not the indictment as it was originally charged. She has shown that she is a exemplary member of society in the last 20 years of her life. She has shown who she is as a mother in raising her daughter. Concealing William's death is something that she will never recover for, and it's something, honestly, that she will understand the sentence of the court, and she will, in Teresa's mind, that it was always coming for her since she left William. She understands that was the biggest mistake a mother can make, and she does not hide from that. We are asking the court to take in the circumstances of her life as it's been since this. She has shown who she can be. She has shown that she can be a member of our society, and a good one. I have represented Teresa for a year and a half, and we have, whether it be investigators or social workers or lawyers or interns, meeting Teresa has been an honor. She is loved by everyone that's worked with her. I'm certainly happy my time has ended as her attorney, that we have some closure. It has been a true honor representing her, and I need the record to know that. We are asking the court to impose a sentence of 10 years, with the first 2 to be served in confinement. dates that I think are relevant. She was arrested in DeKalb County on July 29th of 2022. However, she was originally arrested in Arizona and she waived extradition in Arizona on July 13th of 2022. I believe the total dates for that would be 549 days. We are asking the court again to sentence to a 10 to serve 2, giving her credit for those dates already served. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I see that Margaret Hamilton has joined the Zoom. Would you like for her to speak now?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, Ms. Hamilton, if you could find a place to kind of sit still so the camera's not moving, that would be great. Can you hear me, Ms. Hamilton? I don't know if she can hear me. And your video's been turned off.
Your Honor, you're muted. I don't know.
No, I'm muted. She can hear me through the courtroom. If I turn that on, the feedback.
Okay.
Ms. Hamilton, if you can hear us, can you please turn your video back on? Is somebody reaching out to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any luck?
Your Honor, she's having a hard time connecting.
Yeah.
Could we put her on
That's fine.
speakerphone?
Sure. Wait, her video's back on now. Ms. Hamilton, can you hear me? No. All right, just do it on the phone. All right. Ms. Hamilton?
Yes, ma'am.
You can hear me. Okay. We're going to go ahead and swear you in.
Ma'am. Wait a minute. Yes, please.
Raise your right hand, ma'am. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give to the court should be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
May you lower your hand and state your name and spell it for the record.
Margaret Hamilton.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hamilton. Go ahead and tell me what it is you'd like for me to consider.
I'm at the court's mercy for my grandson because I don't understand what has really happened. And it's really, right now, it's really got my heart all confused. And I'm really upset. I've been crying ever since I left there, actually. And if there's any way that he could there could be something done for him being missing and lies being told and being sent on a journey looking for him, and there's no little William. You make up stories about him. You've told lies about it. You had a new child. So I would like to know, why did you leave Charlotte, North Carolina, when you had a place to live, and come to Atlanta, Georgia, and have nowhere to live, and that's where he ended up dying? It's hard on me right now. I do have a heart condition, and I've been dealing with this the best way I can. I've even had to call my psychiatrist and talk to them. I haven't really been able to sleep. I haven't been able to eat since everything has started all over again. And I'd just like to know what was the reason, just tell the truth about what really happened. You know, because life is, God give us life. It's not man that